Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Iowa Association of Business and Industry's weekly business report. My name is Steffi Lee, and I'm the Legislative and Communications intern here at ABI. And this week we have Brett Burkhart, who is a customer success lead at ABI member company MakuSafe. He is a graduate of the Leadership Iowa program here at ABI and is our conference committee chair. Thank you so much for joining us. And what do you find is valuable for attending and participating in the Taking Care of Business conference every year?
This is I think it's either my 8th or 9th. I can't really recall when I started coming to, I think it might've been 2013. Every year it just gets better because you begin to form those relationships and those networks, and those things begin to overlap, and the value of being able to revisit a familiar face with people you may not even see in between, because it's a statewide organization. So sometimes this is the one time a year where you actually get to see people from other parts of the state. And I think what you learn to realize is you're never alone in whatever it is you're navigating. There's always somebody else who's trying to go through the same thing, and you find that relief and the camaraderie into, or in the ability to share those struggles and successes, and also help others with the things that you've learned as you go through. So every year I meet new faces, and every year it continues to just fill my bucket for the year of how I want to grow my own network or ability to help in the community.
That's great to hear. And going off of, the networking possibilities and learning about new ideas for business, what other things have you learned and taken away from just being a part of the conference?
I think I've learned that people are far more accessible than I ever believed before. As a younger professional, I always assumed that you had to have a certain title, you had to somehow just magically be like inducted into a group in order to meet the decision makers that are getting things done in the state. And what I've learned is that everyone is so much more accessible, and I think even more so here in Iowa. So as we begin to talk about the things that we're inspired by or challenged by, I found that there's a lot of leaders and a lot of people that have experience that want to lend that open ear or that helping hand to you. And you really just have to ask.
What can people hear about this year, and what are some themes that might be addressed during the conference?
So this year we're going back to Dubuque. It's been, I think, like 7 years since we've been in Dubuque, if I recall. I'm getting a little bit blurry because Holly does such a great job planning ahead of time that we've been talking about this conference for like 2.5 years now. So I feel like it's here, but it's not quite here yet. So we've been over making visits. We've been looking at venues. We've been talking to keynote speakers and workshops, reviewing the applications for workshops. And it is a very dynamic group of content this year. So from the speakers to the topics, we had close to like 70 applicants, which was really hard to narrow down to the few slots that we've got. So what we really had to do is make sure that these are the kind of issues that people are talking about, the kind of things that are going to help people come away from this conference with something actionable. So the topics are things like, HR and hiring issues, Industry 4.0, and what that has to do with manufacturing, new technology innovations, legal things. There's a lot of things in the legal world that people are interested in. So we really took the feedback and the input from what people asked for in the surveys after last year's conference, in the in-between things we've done communication-wise, and then we filtered all of those workshop applications down into the ones that we knew people were asking for.
As chair of the conference committee, what's your message to people who are interested in wanting to learn more? And I guess to wrap things up, what is your favorite part of it? I know you've touched upon, the networking and kind of the energy and learning experience, but what other things do you look forward to every year?
I mean, certainly like the opening reception is one of those things where you kind of just get your mind shifted from my office stuff to, okay, I'm here and there are familiar faces, and I'm starting to meet people and get into that zone where you're just really present there. And the more that you can do that and kind of peel away from work and be present, the even more rewarding that it is. So I think it's just kind of the curiosity of, I wonder who I'm going to meet this year that's going to change the next year of what I do at work. I wonder who I'm going to meet that I may have an ability to connect with, whether to get their input or to give input. But every year it's a bit of a discovery, and it's a lot of fun. And I think between the opening reception, the golf is always a ton of fun. I'm not that great, but that's pretty not important, because by the time we get done with a round of golf, you've had 3 other best friends. So, and there's people you run into throughout the rest of the year. You can pick right back up where you left off because you have that rapport. You had time spent together in a shared experience. And so when we talk about, people that I run into, we talk about where we met. I can tell you where I was at which conference in which town and remember that time that this happened. And that's our binding thread. And we can build from that to really create a relationship.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us this week, Brett. And people who are interested in learning more about the Taking Care of Business Conference, you can find more information on our website at iowaabi.org. And make sure to also check out ABI's social media channels to join in on some trivia or a chance to win a free registration to the conference. Thank you so much.